But the first match blew our socks off, and we're going to go into the second one, which is going to be even better here, Dan, going into this between Strongsage and k1llsen. And I kind of feel like this is a perfect time to see where Strongsage stands with some of the higher end in terms of the Quake competition now with k1llsen. And this is probably a perfect display, really, to see what he's actually capable of.
Exactly that. It's a bit of a line in the sand for Strongsage in this season so far, going up against last season's champion. k1llsen is still just as strong as he was, dropped a few more maps than one would expect, but still undefeated in this league so far. And I think Strongsage will put up a good fight, so I'm really, really interested to see how this goes.
Yeah, there wasn't really too much research in terms of what Strongsage gets up to with his individual habits, his likes and dislikes in terms of favoritism on his maps, what he's good and bad at. But now he's seen over a couple of weeks what he's witnessed. He's now given k1llsen just at least a brief amount of information to decide how he wants to go to picks and bans anyway. We know k1llsen 9 times out of 10 bans Veil anyway, but we'll see if that's going to continue as a trend. But Strongsage extremely impressed with how he's been performing so far. As I remember, back at last Quake World Championships when he actually qualified, I was speaking to him a little bit, and he's going through all these decisions, these life decisions really, in terms of how he's going to, move to get a little bit closer towards the East Coast, how he's going to perform, how he's going to scrim, or is basically his plan of action for the entirety of the next 12 months. So not only has he been grinding, as you rightly said, but he's been very mature in terms of how he wants to go about this.
It's something he's been aspiring for a while. He's achieved it now and wants to give everything he's got. And you've seen that in the results, you've seen it in the play, and you've seen it in the practice. And what I really like about him is he's confident, he's cultured, he's already got a versatile skill set in terms of his capabilities, but also his champion pool. And he just grinds, man. He wants this. So he's another player that can go really far and just shows that QPL has taken another level up this season. We just saw Sirius, one of the newcomers to the league, setting that marker. So Strongsage, much harder matchup for him, but as we said, he can do an upset. So really interested to see this one.
Yeah, just, very mature himself, more mature than me anyway, even though I'm probably twice his age. Let's have a look at the picks and bans. Come on, Dan, let's have a brief look to see exactly how these players are going to unfold on these next set of maps. And it looks like the first one is going to be Deep Embrace, going into Cut to Keep, and then finally it will be on Awoken. So a lot of small map geometry here going into it, Dan. As we can see, Blood Covenant, I assume, is going to be banned by Strongsage, and k1llsen, I'm just going to assume was banned by k1llsen anyway, because he normally does so in a way, shape or form. But yeah, look at bans, though. Slash being banned straight away. Scale is going to be used for Strongsage with the Athena for k1llsen, which is going to be a very interesting matchup. And Cut to Keep and Awoken, I think, are pretty standard in my eyes. What do you think?
Yeah, pretty standard. It's just that Deep Embrace one. Look at that, man. You've got the scale against the Athena. You couldn't get more different there. And, k1llsen confidently picks up the Athena. I don't know if he expected a scale to come out. This one's going to be interesting. We don't see scale a lot nowadays. We don't see a lot of heavies, to be honest. They've fallen off the meta a little bit. And this is what I just said in the intro. This is what I like about Strongsage. He has this versatility. He has a very wide champion pool. Like, he forces out that clutch ban as well, because he's so good on that champion, which just opens up the pool for him. And that variety is going to take him a long way in this league. And it could even upset that first map as well. So this is going to be a banger.
Certainly it's going to be a banger indeed. And I feel what you said about the how diverse his champion pool is an extremely good point, because we know there's a couple of champions like Clutch, which majority of the players are not known for using anyway, or requiring for some of his maps, just as due to the fact that it's not part of their style, it's not part of their game plan really. But because, like you said, he can use every single champion, it gives his opponent a bit of a struggle bus in terms of what they should select and what they should ban going into each of these champions. Because having a scale on Deep Embrace, like, something we not normally see. We saw him use the scale last week on Awoken, and he looked incredible with it. He obviously had a set game plan with some of the strategies he used, especially holding top mid, ball rushing every time his opponent would even approach the Mega. And it's very exciting to see how he's going to go about this on Deep Embrace entirely.
What's a struggle bus?
When you're riding the struggle bus, when you're having a bit of a bad time, mate. I think I said that a little bit. My English was very good then. My English is amazing, man.
I've never heard that phrase. But no, I think it's interesting. If we look at it in context, I would say on the most part, these newer players to Quake, the likes of Strongsages, are generally the people who are more creative with with the champions they pick can play, because I feel that a lot of the players in the old school still want to play that methodical, classical way of playing Quake, but you have to adapt, you have to play to your champion as much as anything. And he's one of these players that's pushing that to the next limit. He plays all of these champions in their own unique way, and he just mentioned it, the scale he played before was incredible. Definitely a lot harder to play against the likes of k1llsen on Athena, much more proficient on a rail. But this is the type of champion, the type of map that could... Oh, we're on Alton, are we? What's going on?
We'll see. I'm assuming it's still going to be Deep Embrace, but yes, it is. Okay, so...
All right, cool. We are indeed. I was going to say, this is the type of champion and the type of map that could really mix it up.
Certainly will be indeed. I was going to say, that's a very interesting version of Deep Embrace. Not seen that one before. Going into it now as starting off from Strongsage's perspective. He's got the audio cue of k1llsen bagging those rockets, trying to hit that rail there, but just biding his time at the moment, trying to see if he can get another angle, but misses that last rail. Is quite tight in itself as k1llsen, well, he's taking that brunt of damage as Strongsage trying to back away.
Yeah, some creative use of the jump, the speed, and the rail. Unfortunately not connecting. k1llsen is, however. Strongsage obviously has to be conscious of his positioning and how he plays this map when he is such a chunky champ. Oh, another interesting angle coming out there from Strongsage. Actually not connecting so far, but k1llsen really is. Great start from the German already this early into the map. Strongsage not connecting with really any rails so far, running around the map, getting picked off. Has to bull rush away. k1llsen just playing positional, steady, as we know he will.
Yeah, certainly will do indeed. The items are very, very heavily segregated, as you can see, 15 seconds apart. As k1llsen now looking to see what the best way to try and get around Strongsage. Of course, 15 seconds until this next heavy does appear. Has the positioning for it now, and the height. Strongsage, rightly so, does back away with k1llsen predicting going towards that light as Heavy's going to meet up, and that was a great transition from k1llsen to get him off this Heavy and keeping the pressure on.
k1llsen's putting a bigger delay on these items as well, consciously. He wants to be able to try and take both sides of the map, not give that scale bearer an inch. So far, he's doing a great job of just slowing it down. He knows how dangerous his scale bearer can be if he can close the gap as he's sneaking up there. Good connection from Rail from Strongsage whilst dropping down. k1llsen is playing the angle game slightly better at the moment.
Back-to-back rails there. Let's push away. And Strongsage comes out with a great rail and is able to bag that Heavy straight afterwards as k1llsen does get a little bit of damage as he's on the drive-by from that light to Heavy. Needs to be a little bit careful here. Strongsage does have slightly better stack, but doesn't want to, of course, waste it. Not too much reason at all.
Nice.
Finds him, and some great tagging coming out. Oh my god!
Oh my god! My heart stopped for a second. Lovely bit of skill to swerve his way up to the high ground, but he's caught here on the jump head. Huge LG coming out, and k1llsen gets the better of that with 5 health to go. Nice play by Strongsage, but good defensive awareness by k1llsen to punish that.
Oh, certainly was indeed. He's trying to make it a third if he can, but slowly Strongsage finds him with the starting shotgun. Now back to 2 apiece here, Dan.
I will say, a couple of these moves will frustrate k1llsen. Just running up jump pads into k1llsen.
Oh no.
Does get a little bit frustrating. The Strongsage needs to have slightly more respect. A few times he's been absolutely punished by not at least understanding what k1llsen is or respecting the position of k1llsen. Sneaking. Has k1llsen lost timing here?
Kind of feels that way, doesn't it? As he's... I don't know, 45 HP, of course, available, and Strongsage could he was very lucky not to get caught with his trousers down there. Not available anymore, he's just hanging around top mid just to kind of get a view or try and analyse the situation to what he wants to try and do next. Trying to contest this Heavy, hits the first shot, trying to get the second, but a great rocket coming out from Strongsage. The timing is up again, and to try to tag him before he gets that Mega, but just a little bit too late.
All of these frags for Strongsage have been random, but I'm sure he knows what he's doing. So k1llsen won't be too impressed with it so far. And I do feel that k1llsen has lost a little bit of his composure again. He doesn't feel like he's got a clear understanding of when these items are, and Strongsage is punishing for that, going flying on through. The ball rushes here, cancels it. Actually, you don't know if that was deliberate, but doesn't work out in the end.
It certainly doesn't, as they're going to have an LG bout for this Meg. It does pick it up, but it's looking pretty good here for k1llsen. He's now got a 2-frag lead. Just at the halfway stage here. Now just getting ready for this heavy. He's up in the next 10 seconds. Good rails coming up from k1llsen. Gone 2 for 2, but look at the last one. And what a flick direct rocket there to make that a 6th.
Yeah, now k1llsen's beginning to retain that composure. He's got the timing back. He's got the positioning back. This is how he wants to be playing. k1llsen's got both major items here. There's a big 15-second split now between the two, so he can just cycle the upper ground of this map. Strongsage is going to find it very difficult to break onto this high ground. Doesn't really want to be playing in these rail duels either. He's a chunky boy after all. It's exactly what k1llsen wants.
Oh,
nice.
Great rocket as well. The 70 from the last one. Spawns bottom rail. Has to heavy. Could have been pinned or at least try and get this 8th frag, but does manage to get away. But the question is how long for? He picks up the Mega. He's going to try and look for another one. Yes, nice. He does. Yeah. k1llsen's going to make that an 8th to his name.
75% rail. So even more than we would have expected. It's part and parcel of playing the scale barrier. You're going to have to expect to get bullied on the aim side of things. And Strongsage is doing his best to close the gap and be creative. k1llsen just has the experience to play around that and make sure he's managing at arm's length the scale barrel.
It's the issue, isn't it? It's the horrendous starting stack for k1llsen, but of course, the hitbox of Strongsage will make up for it. Good first round there from top mid, and is looking to try and pile on a little bit more pressure whilst he has the stack advantage as well. If he's up in the next 10 seconds. And this is a good thing as well. Sometimes when you're top mid, you don't do too much damage. Just playing on this kind of pressure, just making your opponent feel like unease, just uncomfortable, just mentally draining as well. It's a huge feat in itself. Sometimes it's not always damage, but little things like this will frustrate and tilt your opponent to a certain degree here. As we've got 3 minutes left here, as he does have a chance, but something needs to change it drastically in order for Strongsage to bring this back.
Strongsage, yeah, he can't create anything at the moment. He doesn't. I don't think he knows when this heavy is either. And as you say, just that positional pressure is massive against the likes of Strongsage. k1llsen's just using it well because he's not exposing himself at all, and the damage shows. k1llsen nearly with 2.5 times as much damage as Strongsage in this map so far. Big rails coming out from Strongsage. Oh no! Oh no! Spinning his wheels in the air. Oh dear.
Yeah, this could be the final curtains here. Is k1llsen just getting back-to-back rails now, making it 3 again. 10 to 3 now. 75% rail percentage. Firing 36, nearly 2,300 damage so far. As you did say earlier, Dan, you know, he is a beefy boy. Not as big as a billboard like Clutch, but yeah, it does. He feels a lot bigger considering some of the shots he's pulling off here, Dan.
Serious who? Yeah. Oh my word. Yeah, this has been, you know, it was a very messy start all round, and that's exactly what Strongsage wanted to create. It's just that chaos factor. You're never going to be able to fully control the map as a scale barrier because you're forced into these engagements and taking way more damage. But at the end of the day, k1llsen managed it perfectly. That's what we said he needed to do. Play the distance game, play the positional game, and the way in which he just kept the pressure on Strongsage to keep him relegated to that low ground was phenomenal.
Certainly was indeed. Mega is up, but Strongsage is going to be taking a brunt of that damage, and k1llsen playing a little bit unpredictable, just prioritizing the kill instead. Misses that rail, but at this point it doesn't really matter. The damage has been done already, so a minute left. They're just going to dilly-dally a little bit, dance around the... Oh, okay. Oh, okay, that really threw me off, and I don't know why. I was expecting maybe a gauntlet or something, but Strongsage has called it a day here, and that's going to be the first game in favor of k1llsen.
The big thing for me was the damage differential. Like again, you expect to get out damaged, but not by that margin whatsoever. Just pure experience from k1llsen throughout that map. So really well played. Has Strongsage left the server?
Yes, yeah. I think he left around the 9:15 stage, but I think by then he was like, yeah, there's absolutely nothing more can be done.
Should do that in the QPL, my friend. This isn't pubs.
I was gonna say
back in my day.
A force of habit from scrims, maybe, I don't know. But we could just say it's that for now. That's k1llsen.
Shaking my fist at the screen right now.
I thought you were going to say punching the fist through the screen, but I suppose that works as well, maybe. Depending on how you see things and how we may have reacted. But first map, though, we've got a bit of an indicator there. As we saw k1llsen just being ridiculous as always with his rail and just, like I said, like more than twice the damage, which is just huge. Absolutely barmy in itself. Good start, though.
Yep. Really good start. You can see what Strongsage wanted to do from the start, but k1llsen managed to restrain it. About 2-3 minutes in, once he got that lead, he got the split on the items, it was no looking back from Strongsage. He couldn't get a look in. Tried his best to keep the pressure on with the scale barrier. You could see the plan in there, trying to steal the items away with it, trying to bully k1llsen, particularly around that heavy area. But k1llsen knew what was up and adjusted it perfectly.
Yeah, he doesn't really seem too phased or felt uncomfortable for the majority of the preps he made for that heavy as well. It just always had the high ground, always had top mid. It just felt never felt like he was out of his comfort zone at all for the majority of that matchup. It's like I said earlier about Strongsage with some of the kills he had. I think k1llsen just, wiped the floor clean, just went, yep, okay, it's one of those things, doesn't matter. Like, some people can get a little bit fortunate with some of the engagements they have, which she had done with a couple of those frags, and then just continue on. And, like we said, Quake is a huge mental game, and things can spiral out of control if you do lose your composure.
Exactly, and, k1llsen plays a simple game in reality. Plays that top mid, as you said. He plays slow, plays positional, but the question is, how do you dislodge that? And that's why he's so scary. He plays, it's his decision making is so quick, so accurate at all times that it makes him very difficult to play against. And the game was very messy for the first few minutes, and that's where the bulk of Strongsage's damage came from. You can see there, over double the damage output from k1llsen's point of view. And the item split was not too different either overall, about 4 more extra on k1llsen's side. It was just pure positional play from k1llsen.
You do normally see some players against, like Rafa, k1llsen, Razor, etc., where the only way they find an in or, take any high risk is the high-level creativity, which sometimes they don't expect. It is highly risky, don't get me wrong, but you can get massively punished for some of those bits and pieces or some of those engagements you try and create with that high-level creativity. And then if you don't do enough damage, then it's not only back to the drawing board, but with that starting stack and no weapons in your arsenal, you kind of feel like it's back-to-back frags gone to waste or deaths, etc. So it is going to be really tough in itself. But going over to cut to keep and then Awoken straight afterwards as we're going to see the Anarchy versus Destrog. And hopefully you'll see something a little bit different this time round compared to what we saw there from Strongsage.
Should be. He has to, I was going to say he has to hit more rails, but we're moving on to keep. But he actually shot more rails than k1llsen. He just didn't hit anything. But moving on to this map now, I believe this was k1llsen's pick as well, so it would obviously shift the dynamic a lot. Definitely has to just he played the items fairly well, so he just has to connect more with his shots and just be wary of k1llsen's positioning. He got to that point where he just couldn't break that stranglehold, so he needs to try and slow the tempo down if that's going to be the case.
It is difficult though when someone's got that much map control, especially on a map like Deep Embrace. You have to. It's the reason why I said you have to be very creative in a lot of ways in order to demolish that. Either be creative or you just have a very, a long-term amount of patience in terms of the longevity of things before you can get enough chip to pursue that. But the problem is with the map being so small, it's very little room for error, isn't it?
It is, and this is another map that can spiral out of control very quickly if you lose that full control. But on the flip side, it is slightly easier to create that chaos as well and have that back and forth trading. You can commit your body for frags because there's no rail. So a lot of it does come down to that item decision making. And also just the use of the heavy machine gun. The entry damage, the chip damage adds up very, very quickly on Corrupted Keep. So that's something to be wary of because k1llsen is a master of that.
Certainly is, Dan. Certainly is. As we're now getting into our second map of our second series of the day here, is k1llsen coming up 1-0. It's best of 3 here. And already I heard the inject straight off the bat, so now it's going to be Strongsage going straight on in, gets the rockets to boot as well. They can try and get some early pressure and early control here.
k1llsen with the LG already, creeping his way into the LG room, slowing it down already. And Strongsage trying to get in, but denied on entry. Items are on the same timing. Strongsage come flying through, but predicted from k1llsen's POV. And that's the type of switch I'm talking about there. Just that chip damage can add up so quickly, particularly when he's an Anarchy. k1llsen waiting it out for the timing. Slight delay on that Mega as well.
Yeah, still collecting weapons in his arsenal. Got a heavy machine gun. Hasn't got the LG as of yet, and he's running out of rockets. It's a little bit of damage there, but the heavy machine gun is going to do himself a massive favour to keep his opponent at bay. But of course, k1llsen looking to try and head towards the heavy instead. Managed to...
Oh, Strongsage missed timing this. He's going to lose out on this Mega as well. For free of all things, going in aggressively, trying to defend this jump pad, but lovely Pika coming out, doing huge damage. Jump the jump pad as well. Strongsage did a fair amount of damage, but k1llsen gets that opening frag.
Yeah, certainly does indeed. k1llsen just rotating back around. Let's be a little bit careful. Heavy's up in the next few seconds, but he's dodging and weaving around some of his rockets here. Now it's a big play, and he hasn't picked up the rocket. That's going to be heavy for Strongsage, and now he can plow down. May miss out on the Mega, but he's got the weapons he requires in order to try and miss the second frag. Switching over to the shotgun straight afterwards, and k1llsen still comes out on top.
Yeah, I get the swap to the shotgun, but that's what happens if it goes wrong. Missing 2 in a row, k1llsen getting away with that. Strongsage now very weak, no weapons. Just waiting for those audio cues so he can make his way out, but k1llsen is ready for it with that heavy machine gun.
Martin in with that heavy. Mega's been picked up by Strongsage as well. Missed that last rocket, misses the second one as well. Might do dividends here for Strongsage here if he can plan a little bit more damage, but the problem is he's even weak in terms of stack. He has to back away to get away from his life there, as the items still only a couple of seconds apart, so we can see obviously a GA between the two depending on which items each player is going to be going for. And k1llsen now just biding his time once more, just to establish authority for the heavies, and it is his and not Strongsage's, as Strongsage is now going for the Mega.
Yeah, and this is the blessing for Strongsage at the moment, is that the item timings are on parallel, so that split means he can pull back onto at least one of the items. That's keeping him in the game. It's only 2 to 1, still quite early on. He's doing a good job of stabilizing after a fairly poor start.
Yeah, certainly hasn't. Oh, dearie me. Nice little drive-by there. It's getting a little bit scrappy here between the two. Rocket's looking good here for Strongsage, but the k1llsen from his last rocket, it's even better. The problem is k1llsen has picked up the Mega, but took a brunt of damage from that heavy machine gun straight afterwards, as Strongsage very eager to try and tie this up. Could be his opportunity though, but picked up those 2 health bubbles just to keep himself alive a little bit longer than expected.
What he's really creative with is just the use of the speed and the air control of Anarchy. It's actually upsetting k1llsen in a lot of these fights, and the way in which he enters these fights means he's often getting the upper hand, so that was really nicely played by Strongsage.
It certainly was, but darts in, and k1llsen's got some good damage with those rockets as well, and backs away a little bit. Does have the advantage here in terms of stack. They're not too keen to give too much away as of yet, just biding his time, playing patiently. And what I like about k1llsen and how he has that defensive posture for some of his items, that he's making Strongsage overthink a lot of his possible scenarios as well. Is he going to be picking up the heavy? Of course, won't get there in time for the Mega, but maybe able to get a tickle of damage before he picks that up, which he has done, because still 45 from those last few shots. And just basing for that Lion. Good bit of damage again, just k1llsen's eating away him here and there.
Yeah, the Strongsage puts a few seconds extra split between the major items. It's not a lot, but it is enough to try and scoop both of them up. So I wonder if that's going to be his plan. Trying to do a drive-by on the heavy and take it away. Inject comes out. That looks like it is the plan indeed. He's got the timing, and he's bang on timing. Sweeps one away, trying to make his way to the Mega, but k1llsen knows what's up, delays it, and once again, there's that experience from k1llsen coming at play. He knows he's not going to get that heavy, so instead plays it safe, does a bit of damage, and keeps himself on the board in terms of items.
So And it doesn't like that from Strongsage as well. Going for the hourglass instead, and with that fake jump, gave away k1llsen's position. Good damage coming up from Strongsage there. Again, just eating away a little bit, just using a similar passive strategy, just trying to do enough chip in order to take each other's items. He's now rotating back, picks up the Mega as well. Needs to be a little bit careful here, because of course with that Mega, now with a 4.5 second gap in between the two, it means whoever does pick up heavy first will have a chance to not pick up the Mega, of course, but to contest it in such ways where we'll have to take a little bit of damage each and every time, which may cost him in the long run.
And they've both been very effective with this mid-range chip damage that we talked about, and because of that, it's caused this sort of stalemate so far because, wow, huge rocket coming out, he stops choking his track, should be able to get the frag now, the injector there if he needs it. Huge damage from k1llsen actually keeps him alive for now, but Strongsage has to find a way to close this frag. Lovely nail gun jump up, k1llsen there on the defense, trying to restack. Able to get up to nearly a base health stack, but not a lot more. Strongsage is going to buy his time, play the long game here. He knows he's got an in, goes flying down, the shotgun misses the second one, but the third one finishes the job to tie it up with 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, fair play to Strongsage as well. His shotgun's been a little bit sloppy, but he's still continuing to make good use of it, or at least just reset his mental state in terms of like his aim skill, and then just trying to use the shotgun to its full effect anyway. As Heavy is up in its 15 seconds, it does mean that Strongsage can should try and pursue it instead. Might be able to catch him here with the LG. LG Bout comes up between the two. It's going to be so close, but Strongsage used the... Oh my goodness, used the inject. Now he's going to finally take the lead. He's been...
He's got time to get the Mega as well here, Lead. He knows the timing. He's going to come flying from below this time, readjusts. He knows k1llsen's there and is healthy, so he doesn't commit, which is smart. Taking a lot of damage though, and he had to use his inject for that. So k1llsen has a big in here. He can pressure this next Heavy. He's got the stack, he's got the items. He's reworking the position. And he's forced Strongsage away. So nicely played by k1llsen. Incredible game so far, this back and forth, Lethal.
Yeah, it's been a quite an aggressive game of chess there. 93 from that last rocket. Mega is up and waiting. This is looking very good here for Strongsage so far. And with that inject, of course, Pika has now been all used up. So this could be another window of opportunity then. If that rocket hit, then literally begging him for him to go across there. But it actually sits there waiting for him. Some good damage coming up from k1llsen. Inject comes out. Will he be able to do it? k1llsen takes him down. Little left stack to spare, but does recuperate from his losses with the light. They cleaned up as well. Pick up the Heavy as well. This is looking much better from k1llsen as we're all tied up. But good amount of damage coming up from Strongsage, Dan.
Yeah, and that was the type of move I was talking about there. It's a bit more creative. They use the Anarchy. This time it doesn't work out. And in fact, I'm not entirely sure what the game plan was because there was no item to compete for. It's given k1llsen a big window now as that damage is coming out. And that mistake has come back to haunt him.
You can see Strongsage still trying to grab all the weapons in his arsenal. Does have the LG. He's to stay alive though. Equal stack, not anymore after k1llsen picks up that Mega. Heavy is up, and look at that. He knew. Timed it well. Taking a bit of damage here, but look at that. Strongsage did so much. Considering the circumstances there, Dan. Minute 20 left, all tied up.
The ball's there to chase and pressure because he knew he had the position. That is actually really good experience for such a novice player because he had to have that. Here though, he knows k1llsen hasn't got a rocket, which is why he's sticking around, but he also hasn't got the timing, and that is... Oh, is that nerves? He was so early for that Mega.
Yeah, he seems quite sure of himself as well, which is a little bit bizarre there, but does have time. Stack's not too different, but of course Strongsage does need to get those weapons back. Does manage to get away. Not too scathed, not until he took that 52 from the last rocket there. All in k1llsen's hand now. Does have the Pika. So he does some good amount of damage with that LG, Dan.
Yeah, the Mega's up. k1llsen's just playing a defensive positional game here. He knows Strongsage has to make something happen, and k1llsen's just abusing that positioning once again, as he's so good at. This will be the final frag to close it out. Strongsage just needs to run. With 15 seconds to go, what can you do? Lovely rocket!
No!
There we go. I mean, what a game that was, Lethal. What a game. And for all of the sensible, smart play. I think it was just a little bit of nerves towards the end where he mistimed that Mega. That play over by the Heavy, that was almost experience right there. He knew he had to pressure, he knew he had the position. I think a lot of players, they would have forfeited the item and tried to just recoup, but Strongsage knew he could punish the pickup, and that got him back into the game. And then it was just timing. Just one mistake by the Mega, that mistiming, and k1llsen showed wealth of experience once again to close it out.
Yeah, he certainly did indeed, and you saw Venera in terms of damage count, only 450 damage between the two, a lot better compared to what we saw as Strongsage was doing a much better job, being a lot more proactive around the map with his presence. You saw it with heavy machine gun and just having that, you know, defensive posture and attitude for these items as well, and just trying to dare each other to do enough chip in order to take each other's items. We saw that quite often, but some great creativity, as I mentioned earlier, which Strongsage definitely required, and he definitely done it. And it's like I said before, it's nice to see some, you know, a wealth of, showing a wealth of experience from a very close, a novice player, but to be fair, that makes sense because he's of course very young. He's quite inexperienced at this high level, but he's been performing so well and can be so scary for some of his top dogs as k1llsen had to really dig deep to try and secure that map victory.
What I really liked about Strongsage players is exactly what we said he needed to do in the intro. It was that mid-range chip damage, the use of the tri-bolt, the heavy machine gun spam, even some of these rockets, the constant chip damage not only kept him in the game, but forced his way into the lead at some points. He was doing it more effectively than k1llsen, who is a master at it. And so that was really, really good. It was just the small mistakes at the end that cost him. So all credit to Strongsage, he pushed it to the wire on k1llsen's map pick, but he does find himself 2-0 down in terms of maps now. So has only one more to play for. He's going to lose this series, but can he redeem himself? Because he definitely could have taken that map.
And it just shows at this level, one minor critical mistake such as that mistiming on the Mega can completely change the situation of how this map will develop towards the end. And it was quite unfortunate, as I do feel Strongsage played extremely well in the situation there. And we're now going to go to our final map in this series. It will be on Awoken, quite standard as most people would assume, especially with, you know, going into that third and final map as well with Ranger versus the Doom here. Dan, what's your thoughts, mate? What's your thoughts?
I like the Ranger a lot. I think Doom is still a fine pick, but obviously he's fallen off the meta a little bit. But it still suits k1llsen's play style well. It gives him that opportunity to control that mid ground on the T-junction with ease, and can have a little bit of creativity in fights with the double jump as well. So it's still a good pick, but as we saw in the hands of Sirius earlier, the Ranger on this map is probably the best pick, and let's see what Strongsage can do with it. He's shown us some creative gameplay already, so I'm excited to see how he plays the Ranger.
Yeah, Ranger's been looking so good on us, mate. We know he's been quite good in the past, but we've kind of seen over time, especially over the last few months, he's been used more and more on Awoken. Not really too sure, maybe because with Awoken being like the third map in the pool, we normally see a Ranger versus a Doom, don't we, once the picks and bans have been done.
Yeah.
If not, it will probably be something like an Athena or Strog, etc. You know, the usual suspects you normally get on that first map anyway to try and get them out of the way at the very beginning. But it doesn't surprise me. We've seen people use the Ranger even as a first pick on Awoken, even if it's Awoken is on the first map, let alone the final map in the best of three. So yeah, we'll have to just see exactly how that goes. I don't feel like Strongsage should be beating himself up too much considering what we've seen so far, because he did an incredible showing in the second map. The first one, it was very difficult considering how much map presence k1llsen had, and even taking a map off k1llsen will, you know, pay off a little bit and he'll feel a little bit more confident in himself, especially going into future weeks. But he's done so well against Awoken already, beating Dramis last week, and let's see if he can at least try and take a map off k1llsen in this final one in this best of three, kicking off with Strongsage's POV again.
Yeah, it's obviously going to be disheartening to walk away with a loss in the previous map, but that's the nature of Quake, and that's the nature of playing at this level. Small mistakes get punished, so he's going to have to learn to refine that side of his game a little bit more, because he may have walked away with a victory in other games, other opponents, but not against k1llsen. Now, something he has to do more of on this map than we saw on map 1 is hit some rails, my friend. If you can start doing that, then definitely think he's got a chance.
Of course, the world's his oyster if that does happen. I'm going to chase you through that TP, just going to wait on by, of course, does want to pass through that choke point and guarantee that first frag to k1llsen. As he's just darting back and forth just to see what he can do, as little bit of a rock of a hard place here, so to speak. Mega's going for the next couple of seconds. It looks like he's tempted just to go straight for the heavy. Here's him, and k1llsen, good awareness once more. Now having to back away and go for that heavy. Hasn't picked up as of yet, which is good from k1llsen, of course, throwing that timing off massively, considering the position Strongsage is in.
Stealing away the light as well. Really nice play. Knows he's got the front foot advantage here. Wants to keep that pressure on Strongsage. Strongsage is slowing the game down heavily, working his way around to the heavy. I'm not entirely sure he has timing, however. Instead, he's just playing ultra defensive. Wants to punish the exit route from k1llsen should he come railway. k1llsen respecting it as well. Oh no, don't go up the jump. No, he actually... Here's his opponent. Walks his way around, and this is tense already, Lethal.
Really is, and because of the timing, heavily delayed by k1llsen earlier, of course. Thinking that Mega's going to be coming up first by quite a big margin. Misses that rail, sadly, but so far Strongsage is doing a good job, just keeping his distance for now. At least he has the time over the heavy at this stage. Mega's going to be up in the next second, and good try bolt as well. Only a 38, but enough to seal it as he does get that rail. Heavy's going to be up in 15 here, as whoever's going to pick it up first will have time to contest the Mega straight afterwards, as the rail trade-off is going to continue on here forward. Does have the orb in his back pocket as he sees fit. The rail will be up, sorry, the heavy will be up in 5, so it's just a couple of seconds. Is Strongsage just going to back away? He's still got a couple of lights he requires in order to continue on forward with, but looks like he's in a good position here to pick up this Mega as long as he keeps his distance.
But that Mega's been eaten up so far, and k1llsen knows he's got his opponent trapped down here. Will be pressing in. The orb is still there should he need to use it through the crack, but no, he actually gets bounced into death. First frag for k1llsen, and that was just suffocating pressure from k1llsen as he played methodical, slow, and safe.
He certainly did, as k1llsen does pick up that heavy. Let's have the rocket jump a little bit. Do you know what? A quick jump on the jump pad should suffice anyway. And he's picked up the Mega. Orbing up. Good rail coming out from Strongsage. Misses the second, unfortunately, but k1llsen trying to do a little bit more here. Gets to 58 from the last rocket. Heavy's up in 12. Good rail coming out from k1llsen. Trying to look for the seconds. He bags it. Left on 8 HP.
Close. Strongsage knows he's got him on the ropes though, so he can pressure this next heavy pickup. k1llsen's in the area, but he's got on the high ground. Just waiting out for his opponent. And will use that to skirt himself away and pick up this Mega to recoup himself. And there we go. Strongsage going in aggressively. One-on-one LG here. k1llsen trying to get away. Lovely around the corner. Has to pop the berserk to get away, and he can't. Nicely played by Strongsage.
He saw that k1llsen trying to back that health bomb before going for the TP, but sadly missed that first round. Could go back through straight after him, and he has done. LG Barrel coming out around top mid. Strongsage can get the better of that bout. Yeah, I like it as well. That's alright. It's not too shabby, is it?
k1llsen's wary. He's showing a lot of restraint and respect to Strongsage, who has been bullying him in these fights, actually, particularly with the LG, and he's caught him once again. k1llsen's stuck here. Question is, can he get a clean frag? Clean enough. He's got this position on the mid-ground. Can he connect the rail? Yes, he can. Punishes k1llsen, who's now stuck. So he has double jumps and get out if he needs to. Ooh, that was clever, though.
Oh!
Whoa!
I was just being very patient there to see if he'd hit it, and I was just waiting for him to hit that angle, but that's going to be so crucial here, of course, for that Mega as well. Great
Lovely.
LG damage as well. Left on 74 HP, but that's fine. That's not going to be too much of a hassle here as he recovers with the light in the bubble.
Look how
That's
well
LG,
he read
though.
that, though. I mean, again, look how well he read that, just understanding. I think a lot of players may have just crept over to try and punish that, and that's what k1llsen was hoping. Strongsage showing that restraint, and you can see k1llsen's getting frustrated here. Strongsage is genuinely reading him, and k1llsen is, at the moment, unable to work out how to get back into this game. Every time he's peeking around the corner, this time big rocket jump coming out from Strongsage, but not that clinical, taking a lot of damage. k1llsen's weak himself. Oh, and he misses the rail! Don't say that very often.
Yeah, not something we're normally used to. k1llsen does find himself 4 frags behind, 4 minutes left. Mega's go up in the next couple of seconds, but he's actually going to break through the choke point and actually let him get it. Strongsage does give it up to, let's go for the heavy. But with the timing of it, you can see that Strongsage did prefer the heavy, of course. Here's that TP, just going to go back around. And when he catches him, he's caught him a couple of times here in some good positions and taking a fair amount of damage, but not enough to be traded out. As both items are coming up very shortly. Here's k1llsen just having a look to see if he's around heavy, which he is. He takes the brunt of that rail.
And he is getting the upper hand on these rail engagements so far. He's playing a better positional game than k1llsen, so still got 3 minutes to go. k1llsen actually double jumps over, the orb comes out. This is going to be messy, and Strongsage will take away another frag. 5 frag differential lethal. What can k1llsen do here? Oh.
The 2 for 2 as well, straight off the bat, waiting for him to push up on spawn. Like the discipline here from Strongsage, even though he misses those couple of shots.
I was on k1llsen's pop and he was going to suicide. I think k1llsen might need a new mouse after this game. It's so well played by Strongsage. He's defending this rail as well. He knows k1llsen needs it.
Yeah, certainly does. It boosts his confidence, even though the scores don't reflect the first map, but this will definitely give him a good helping hand and showing a good showing already. Trying to back away and left on 22 HP. Finishes him off with the shotgun anyway. Making that 9-2, damn dear with me.
Yeah, and this game's over.
What more can we say really at this point? Strongsage is playing out his mind.
He is indeed. k1llsen's going to make a game of it though. 2 minutes to go. There is comeback potential here, but there's a long road to go. He needs to triple his frag count in 2 minutes.
I've seen him do it once upon a time in Ruins, so no reason why I can't do it in this map either, but the combat skills from Strongsage could be a little bit too strong here. And get away once again. Now looking to try, as you rightly mentioned, still not around the possibility, of course, highly unlikely at this point, but we're going to see if he can create this miraculous comeback. Good orb, and he still manages to take him out there. Of course, taking the Mega halfway through. Heavy's up in 15.
And Strongsage literally just needs to delay and waste time. He's going to sneak himself around. Oh, he lets an audio cue slip there as he fumbles his movement. So he will be going down here. Do a lot of damage with the machine gun nonetheless. Heavy is up for recoup. k1llsen is making game of this one. 4 frags now. He heard that pick up off the rail as well, so he knows exactly where Strongsage is, but Strongsage is smart. He's going to make k1llsen come to him. Fake rocket jump. Forces it out. Strongsage gets away. Got no orb just yet, but he has that rocket jump passive, so he can fly around this map.
Here as well, of course, going back and forth and orbs back around. That was so good coming out from Strongsage. A lot of players can get a bit too comfortable, of course. A lot of those situations, but yeah, that's not going to happen at all. 30 seconds left, that's a done deal. And yeah, that was much better from Strongsage, much better indeed. Seemed a lot more complacent, a lot more comfortable in comparison to what we witnessed in the first map. But the second map, he seemed very good in terms of his composure anyway.
Yeah, I don't think composure was an issue whatsoever. I think he struggled on the first map, partly because his pick, it got exposed. He didn't connect with his rails that he would have hoped to. I think he had 25% rail, which you can't do going up against 75%. Second map, exceptional play, went toe-to-toe with k1llsen throughout. It was the mistakes on timing towards the end that cost it. And this one, he just played better. Like, he played a better angle game. He was reading k1llsen, frustrating k1llsen. I think some of the frags were messy, but that's the way Strongsage likes to play. He creates these chaos situations in close combat. Was getting them upper hand, but it was around that was impressive to me. The way in which he played the angles, he read k1llsen, he managed k1llsen, and not many people do that to k1llsen. So Strongsage fully deserves that map.
Yeah, and of course, a bit of context. I think the servers were EU and AEU, so you know the fact that they've actually taken maps off each other on each other's servers as well was quite funny in itself. But it will be k1llsen does take the series 2-1, but Strongsage giving himself a little bit lighter in the end of the tunnel, taking that final map, and it's very good signs to see. Of course, we know how strong k1llsen is overall on the majority of the maps and the champion pick. Let's be honest, and Yeah, the fact that Strongsage, as you mentioned at the very start of the pre-match, because with his diverse champion pool, just making things a little bit easier. Of course, over time in this Pro League, people will have to read Strongsage a little bit better with his usual individual habits, which champions he normally goes for, what he likes to ban, etc., etc. And obviously that will develop over time. But looking at it so far, Strongsage, good performance towards the end of the series. k1llsen will win it outright 2-1 anyway. And yeah, we'll have to see how the future holds for Strongsage as we push on forward in the Quake Pro League.
Yeah, I think he's also upset the balance of prediction points as well by taking that map.
It's one you keep away from now. It's one of those keep away matches.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to risk it on Strongsage. So really well played. He definitely tilted k1llsen. And it was a deserved victory. Could have been a 2-1 Strongsage on another day. Not to be. I think in the context of the game, k1llsen deserved the victory, but another player coming into the Quake Pro League and laying his mark today. So to go 2-1 against k1llsen, exceptional.
Yeah, Strongsage. You were talking about Strongsage. I think Strongsage and Sirius are the two you keep away from. So you know that's our advice, chat. If you want a little bit, if you don't want to lose so much channel points compared to what we saw, I think it was like 92% to 8% or something. Something crazy in itself, but it's understandable for what we saw from k1llsen in those first 2 maps anyway. But you know, speaking of Devil, that's 2 matches done. We've still got 5 more series left to go, with our next one being Rafa versus Zeniku. Another incredible matchup, which is going to be before your very eyes here, chat. So get ready for it. But before that, we're going to go to a break, as we'll see you in just a few minutes.